Okay, so here we are with the second phase of this old boat.
What's the name of this old boat?
This old boat's going to be called the PBR Street Gang, named after the famous Apocalypse Now movie with Marlon Brando, Martin Sheen, some other guys.
Wasn't that a Coppola film?
That was a Francis Ford Coppola film, and based primarily about revenge and the well, not quite revenge, but let's not go into the plot synopsis right now because I may spoil people's fun.
Yeah.
So, in any event, when we took place, let's run around this side here. And what I've noticed on other YouTube videos that people post is the fact that, well, there's a lot of stuff going on, but there's no dialogue. So what we're going to give you is a big chunk of dialogue which will help you with your boat restoration project. Now we started, I think we finished back here with the portholes, and we were running into a big problem with the portholes and removing them. Okay, so what we have here is a big problem with the degradation of the portholes. What we decided to do is to polish those off as best as possible and leave them intact because I want to preserve as much of the original boat as possible. Now these two portions here, these portholes, were missing glass or broken glass, so we'll have to replace those, probably with plexiglass. Now, what I've done since phase one started, which was scaling away all the old grime and dust, and we've completely sanded the boat, and started with 40 grit and then went to 80 grit.
Do you want to lay out some of the tools that you used?
We will go there, but I just wanted to show people that the original teak was painted over with house paint as well as the whole boat and hull. And what we've done is strip back all the old paint to reveal the teak, but the problem with that in itself was the fact that the teak was saturated with water, then painted, didn't have any chance to breathe. So now it's got everything off, and the paint's off and it's drying. We'll eventually lacquer this for a better sheen once it's finished, but as you can see, you get right up on it, the paint has saturated the teak, and that's a problem because that's going to be very difficult to extract. We're not going to try and do that. We just want to get it as close as possible to the original deal. Now what I've done here, if you get up close on the boat hull, the whole hull from 1940 had started to crack, and that's a big problem when you want a smooth surface. You want to be able to, once you go to primer the surface, it's pretty much flush and clean, and it's got no indentations or chunks taken out of the hull. So what we've done is what we called floating the whole surface, and it took forever, but you know, it's worth it. Let's go around the other side of the boat. So the floating process is as such. With all these, I grinded away much of the degraded area of the bow line, which receives most of the shock from impact to waves, debris, etc. So what we've done is I had to sand most of this away to the fiberglass, but this is the floating procedure on all the other cracks. So I floated this, it was uneven, so I'm going to leave most of this on. It's nice and flush, and you can primer it, it's not going to show any imperfections. As you roll on down the line here, you can see also this, here's what we were floating. Now technically I could go ahead and sand all this away, but it's not going to matter a whole lot. Here is this is a phenolic micro balloons, and this is what this is a mixture of polyester resin and powdered fiberglass. What this does is your floating procedure. I saved this unsanded area because this is what it looks like afterwards. It's like a lightweight Bondo, and it adheres great to fiberglass. And so this is the last part I'm going to sand before I go ahead and primer the boat. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and primer the whole boat minus the interior cabin. So we're going to sand all these decking plates. Everything's sanded here. We'll pull the steering wheel and steering wheel cowling, and we'll have that sandblasted and repainted. And so this boat is primarily meant for fishing, It's going to be used for surfing. We're going to put racks up here for the surfboards to go out to the point. Where we live is Point Loma, so we'll be heading down south to the point in this boat, and we'll install an 18 horsepower motor here with probably a 9 horse kicker just in case this thing fails. So that's all for now, and when we get to stage 3, you'll see this boat completely primered, maybe even with some paint.